is a girl. She's a star. She's got style. Steffi Star. You see her face around the town. She's popular. Steffi Star.
Hi, I'm Meredith Keach.
And I'm Stephanie Weinstein.
And we are the show.
What happened to we are real estate agents?
Well, I got thrown off because we're not saying realtors anymore.
No, I think it's because I usually go first.
Oh, okay. Want to try again?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Stephanie Weinstein.
And I'm Meredith Keach.
And we're real estate agents.
From Coldwell Banker.
The Easton office.
I feel better about that.
Don't you?
Yes.
It just works better.
We have Tommy with us.
This is the show that we have been waiting for.
Forever.
Right? We've been
Yes.
trying to get Tommy on for months and months and months, but his schedule is so busy between
crazy.
work and travel that it's been very hard to book Tommy.
True. The
Right?
travel has been extraordinary. Right?
He goes to Palm Beach, he goes to
Palm
Australia.
Springs.
Oh, Palm Springs. Australia,
New Zealand.
New Zealand, and he sends postcards.
That's right.
And I did notice that you sent a postcard to Meredith and not myself.
Well, to compensate for that, Diamond in our office did come in when we were sitting together and said she wanted to get you a gift and not me a gift.
She did. She said, I'm sorry, Meredith, I didn't think of you.
Yes.
I really wanted to get Stephanie a gift.
It's the plight of my life.
Yeah. So I said, feel free to bring in everything that you bought and I'll choose something.
Right.
So she's thinking about it.
So we have an anxiety of the day. I mean, a phobia of the day. Anxiety-itis.
Yeah.
Thomas, do you know what anxiety-itis is?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Fear of?
Fear of judgment, fear of life issues.
That is the best description I have heard.
Good thing I brought some medication for us.
I was popping before the show.
Yes.
Anyway, so we have some exciting events coming up.
Yes.
We have,
I don't know because I didn't look it up.
okay, well, we have the Taste of Easton and the Family Fun Fest. So the first is, I don't know if anybody has noticed, but we do have a studio audience today. So in case you hear the Peanut Gallery chiming in, that is our studio audience.
Should we give a shout out to our studio audience guest?
Saltsy is in the studio audience, which
Yes.
is very exciting.
So excited.
So the Family Fun Fest is sponsored by the Moms Club of Easton. It's going to be at Maplewood, which is also in Easton. They've hosted it there in the past. It's a really fantastic event, $18 per family. The funds go to the Moms Club, and the Moms Club is one of our great charity contributors in the community. They have a Touch-a-Truck event. We get to utilize the entire Maplewood camp, which,
Fantastic.
you name it, it's there. It's usually a day in May for the spring event, and the weather is typically spectacular. So if you have kids, I highly encourage you to go to this event. And in addition, we have the Taste of Easton coming up.
So we are trying to switch it up this year. We're trying to think of something we can do that's a little bit different.
Right.
So Tommy, what do you think? We were thinking about maybe wearing costumes, and we've picked out a couple. One is peanut butter and jelly. The other one is ham and cheese. Or we could wear hats. One is a hot dog hat,
Right.
and one is
Pizza.
a pizza hat. Tommy, what do you think? Usually we wear whatever.
Well, we'd like to preface it. Tommy is in retail, so he is very fashion forward,
Right.
knows everything about fashion. So tell us, would we be better suited with a hat or full costume?
Full costume.
Fine.
There we go.
And
That's what I wanted.
Should we do the ham and cheese or the peanut butter and jelly?
The peanut butter and jelly.
Oh my God. And who is going to be peanut butter and who is going to be jelly?
Oh, no.
I think you're way sweeter. You should probably be jelly.
Fine.
Okay, there we go. We've got it. We will order them today.
Thank you,
Stay
Tommy.
tuned for the Taste of Easton episode where we will be food-centric, interviewing at the Taste of Easton.
It's going to be so exciting.
Yes. Well, I don't know.
Well,
We'll
we're
see.
going to try to make it really exciting.
Right. We're going to bring our screen board.
You know
people
what
to be
the
able to take
problem
pictures.
is? This year, well, and last year, so there's no winners anymore.
Right.
Because one year, the ballot box was stuffed. So then the next year they decided to have secret judges, and that didn't take either.
No, because the secret judges weren't really secret.
They weren't secret at all. We said, we know you're a judge. So then finally they've got away from anyone winning, because everyone's a winner now at the Taste of Easton.
I do look for the honey hots, though. That's one of my absolute favorites.
And I do, sometimes Neil does the lobster roll, which is delicious. I mean, trust me, I'm not complaining about the food
Right.
at the Taste of Easton.
Or Pops.
Oh, right. Or
Pops
the
wine sampling,
that's
which
right.
is really incredible.
Or the Hilliard's candy.
Okay, that is another one of my favorites.
Right.
And then there's actually some neat ones. You get, crazy as it sounds, you have some of the local franchises, Dunkin' Donuts, Subway.
Yep.
You know, they come
Starbucks
in,
is
Bertucci's,
here.
Starbucks.
Yep.
And so you get to try whatever they have that's new. It's a really fun event, but get there early because it's a popular event
Right.
and the food goes fast.
Right, so you can order your tickets online.
People do nudge and push.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But
Tommy,
fun.
will you be going?
I have a suggestion.
Yes.
Tommy!
Why don't they have out-of-town judges?
Now that is brilliant.
Out-of-town judges, people who really don't frequent the restaurants
Tommy,
in
are
the
you
Easton
say-
area.
Tommy, maybe you should be our informal judge for the Taste of Easton.
I think we should make a recommendation to the chamber.
Well, I think we shall. We will do that. And Tommy, you will come to the Taste of Easton and be our secret judge.
Don't tell.
Don't tell anyone. And Tommy, and then you will announce your personal winner at the end of the Taste of Easton.
All of a sudden, Tommy will be getting free lunches all over the place
Right.
in advance of the Taste of Easton.
Hopefully you won't have to work that night because I know you're in retail and your schedule is crazy.
Correct.
40 hours a week, 9 hours a day.
It's exhausting.
That is too much. I'm exhausted just listening. Tommy, does going to work give you anxiety?
Sometimes it does, and
Why?
sometimes it doesn't, because you have to deal with the public.
You don't like the public, Tommy?
Oh, I do like the public, but sometimes the public can be very difficult.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So today we're going to be talking about anxiety. Thus, our beautiful centerpiece, we have pills and alcohol, which can help with anxiety. Probably not a long-term solution. Maybe
a quick fix.
A quick fix, get you off that hump, and then on to yoga and exercise, I think is probably the most appropriate.
Well, we were supposed to have Missy Capodalupo here, and
That's
she
correct.
was going to do some de-stressing exercises that when you were starting to feel overwhelmed with things, she was going to be able to bring us back down and
This
do
is
some
correct.
breathing exercises and, and just guide us through that. But unfortunately, she had to sub for a class.
That's right.
So
To
now she's not here.
sort of,
So we're just going to
Yeah.
have to try to help each other,
that's correct.
right?
So let's talk a little bit about anxiety. So you're telling us when you go to work sometimes, now I would imagine that the holidays are probably the most anxiety producing. Is that a good assumption or?
Sometimes holidays can produce it, but sometimes even just like being in a regular supermarket or being in the car or being at home, it just like anxiety attacks.
I was
can
just going
come-
to say, do you have panic attacks? How are you feeling right now, Tommy?
Oh, I'm feeling okay.
You're
'cause-
between your two favorites.
Yeah.
You can't be having anxiety
No,
right now.
I'm not having any anxiety right now. I basically had an issue 2010. I was driving on 495 north, and it was in December. And at the time, I was working 10 years for my company, and I literally had to pull over, go from 70 down to 40, then down to 20, and right into the emergency lane right before my exit. Never had a panic attack on the highway before, but I pulled my car over safely, went into work, and I said to my manager, I need to go home. Need to go home. Called my doctor's office and went to my doctor's office and had a few discussions with them. Left work for a couple of weeks. Then I turned to my mother one night, a couple of nights before Christmas Eve, and I said to my mother, I need to go to the emergency room. I went to the emergency room at Norwood Hospital. and I basically said that I am suffering with anxiety and all that kind of stuff. Then gets really personal, but I went into an outpatient program for a couple of weeks, and I was out of work for about just about shy of 2 months. My management team at work was extremely supportive about it, and basically now I've been in therapy since 2010. I go to therapy every 4 to 5 weeks with a therapist, and I see a nurse practitioner every 3 months.
And when you say therapy, is it talk therapy?
Yes.
Okay. And when you were in the outpatient, or when you went into the emergency room, because I understand that Norwood Hospital has a psychiatric facility to be able to help folks when they're having mental issues.
Yeah.
And when you were in there, I know that there's a fear for a lot of people, and seeing you right now just express how you feel talking about it, did they immediately help you? Was it a couple of days? That first moment when you needed to basically go to the emergency room, what did they do to help you in those moments?
Okay, when I went into the emergency room, my mom's a former ER nurse, and she told me what to expect. I had to pee in the cup, like what everybody has to do when you get triaged. Then they brought me down to the emergency room area where they bring you into an examination room. But the section I was put in was the section that people with mental health issues goes in. I basically took my sneakers off because I knew that they were going to tell me that they're going to need my belt, my shoelaces, so I did it ahead of time.
For fear of suicide?
Yeah, but I even said to the triage nurse, it's not suicide issue or anything like that because I'm coming to you. You didn't have to come to me. I went to you.
And when they come to you, I think they call it you're sectioned, correct? Yeah. Okay. And basically in protective custody to protect you from yourself.
Right.
And that wasn't the case. You knew that you needed outside help, and you were there to seek it from them.
Right.
Have you always had these panic attacks, or did they come on at a certain time, certain age?
I think I noticed it like in my late 30s and early 40s. And
what happens when you have a panic attack? Does your heart start beating fast?
It's funny that you asked that question because I personally, I don't get like the heart thing, feel like you're gonna have a heart attack. I get the total like nauseous feeling.
Really?
Yep, that you need to run to the bathroom.
Okay.
And you dry heave.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I've had a panic attack before.
Really?
Curled up in a fetal ball, dry heaving.
Mine teeny. I didn't know. I think that this is a really important conversation to have. And I don't know that I would classify you as mental illness. I don't think it's necessarily something that I should be, certainly diagnosing you as. But
He is just Tommy.
in our world today, we don't really have facilities to handle any type of mental concerns other than having to go to the emergency room, and taking a course with your family, with your practitioner. But in this instance, I'm so happy to hear that you were able to go in. And so you went in, you knew what they were going to ask of you, and once you gave up your shoes and belt and whatnot, what was the next step?
Then they had this place called, I think it's River Edge or something, out of Norwood. And they came in with a caseworker, like she was on call that day, and she came in and she basically like came in, meet with me and all that kind of stuff. And she basically suggested that I go into an outpatient program, and she was able to get me into a program immediately. So I started the program the day after Christmas, literally the day after Christmas. I went right into the outpatient program. And
What kind of things did they teach you in the outpatient program? Are you in a group setting?
Oh,
Are you meeting
group.
like they show on TV, and everybody gets a chance to talk and
Yep.
say what's wrong.
It's a group therapy, and you'll be amazed of how many. I still in contact with a few of the people that I say that they're my friends and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And it just was amazing how many different people that like you see that like different types of professions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's
All walks of life.
All
our
walks of
experiences.
life.
So have they given you any tools that you can use when you feel one coming on? What
Share
did
with
they
us.
say
Yeah.
Yes.
you should do?
You should always have like a focus. For example, when I know that I'm going to have a really bad one coming on and all that, I think of Mount San Jacinto in Palm Springs, California. You guys must see all those mountain pictures, okay? So that's my focus point. I just like, remember that picture in my head. And
Visualize.
Visualize. And another thing is try to talk yourself out of the situation. Try to think what caused it, what triggered it, and all
What
that.
do you say, Tommy? Stop. Take a breath. It's not that bad. You're gonna get through this. Is that what you say?
You just recognize it, then you think of there's people in worse situations than you, and you just do that. And another thing they say is try to get as much sleep as possible.
Sleep.
Sleep.
I didn't know. Why sleep?
Because anxiety, you heard of sleep deprivation and all that kind of stuff. This is what I heard, and this is what I learned in group therapy and from my counselor. Basically, lack of sleep throws off everything, and
Fascinating.
yep,
Tommy.
stay busy.
Stay busy.
You're
Okay.
very busy.
Yep, you have to stay busy.
Okay.
Get
Tommy,
your-
what time do you go to bed? Because I got a late phone call the other night after 10. Tommy and I were chit-chatting on the phone. I was in bed.
I was long asleep at that point.
I said, Tommy, what are you doing? Tommy, I feel you go to bed too late.
Yeah, I do go to bed too late.
So you get sleep. What else? For your
Um,
regular maintenance programs. So I think this is an important piece. You had a crisis moment
Yeah,
and sought professional medical help in order to take you off the ledge,
right.
right? And they helped you out of that moment. And then once you got into the day program, these are the things that they started to teach you. So you continued that talk
Yeah.
therapy in the outpatient facility.
Yeah.
And they taught you things like getting sleep, recognizing the moment.
Yep.
What else?
Visualizing a calming scene.
Visualizing.
Yep, visualizing coming scene. And they told you never sit in bed and watch TV. The TV in the bedroom is the worst thing.
For
Even-
anxiety.
Yep, and even eating in bed is a no-no.
Tommy, I love eating in bed.
But your bedroom is supposed to be
Serene.
serene, your place to relax, no eating in the bedroom.
Interesting.
Yep,
Because you need the time to decompress.
yep,
I
it's supposed to
didn't
be.
Now I feel like I need to redo my whole bedroom.
Well, you probably
a calming
do.
paint color,
Right.
big fluffy, fabulous sheets and pillows.
And reading, they say reading is very good. Keep your mind off of things and all that kind of stuff. And I read a very interesting book, and it was, I'm not going to mention the name of the book, but it was about a famous celebrity who.
Was it about Meredith Arai?
No, it wasn't about you. And she had, what do you call that depression that after young ladies when they have children?
Postpartum.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
severe,
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
severe postpartum.
Why can't we mention her name?
Is it Brooke?
Yes.
Brooke Shields wrote an amazing book about her experience with postpartum depression.
Did you read the book?
I haven't read the book.
Oh, you
no.
need to read the book. It was awesome.
Can you loan it to Meredith?
I don't have it. I got it at the library.
Well, I am now using the library.
Meredith
regularly.
is a reader now.
I am a reader. Just looking up our timer here. Okay, so reading is important.
Yep. Just keeping your mind occupied. And that's another reason why I want to get back to the gym, lose my gut. Staying in shape is the natural endorphins. We have a natural anti-depression thing going on in our
But I
head.
thought you were always at the gym, Tommy. Every time I saw you on Facebook, you were at this gym, at that gym, at this gym, at that gym.
My spin instructor went to a high and mighty gym, so I can't go to spin anymore.
The horror.
Tommy.
I think music makes a big difference in spin.
Yes.
It does. You need a really good playlist.
Yes. Well, our friend
Maybe you would
Salty
like
is an
my
avid
sister-in-law.
exerciser.
Yes, he is. And we are gonna have him on the show too. You should try my sister-in-law's spin class.
Where does she spin?
She spins everywhere.
Okay.
People love her, and she has a following. I'll get her schedule.
Okay, get me her
Jennifer
schedule.
Klugman.
I've heard she's amazing. I
She
could
is.
take a class with you, Jenny's class.
I'll take a class.
Your fanny hurts after the first time. Then it gets
Tommy,
better.
okay, we had a show. When did we book that?
Last week.
Okay, last week we had a show. I worked out
Janice
literally.
Wolf.
Yes, Janice Wolf. She was fabulous. I think the workout was 60 seconds. I couldn't walk for 3 days.
It was fun though. We got a slam ball. I mean, talk about
The kettlebell.
anxiety.
The kettlebell.
Yes,
And
prevention.
squats, you know what? And I really miss exercising so much, and I talk about it all the time. Maybe I'll get back into it with you.
So let's go back to those steps that you've taken. So I was in grief counseling for a long time after I lost my brother, and one of the tools that people will ask me, well, what do you do in grief counseling? And what I liken it to is that the therapist that I worked with gave me a toolbox that I didn't have prior to experiencing this massive grief. And one of the things that you just mentioned reminded me that she taught me to recognize that there would be events, there would be moments. The first for everything was something that I should acknowledge, and that's what it sounds to me that you're saying, that you acknowledge how you feel in that moment and also anticipate it.
Right.
So in the grief counseling, you know, this was for my brother who I lost. His birthday would be coming up. And so what she taught me was to recognize that day and either celebrate it, but acknowledge it to myself that it could be a difficult day. Holidays, times of year, smells, that there were always something that could come up, and you should learn to anticipate it. And was it the same with what you've experienced?
Yes.
Okay, so you've learned since 2010 to anticipate certain times, certain triggers.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And people ask me, like it was getting into the rush of the Christmas season. And I said, it really can't be that because I was working for the same company, same location, same place for the past 10 years. So I knew what Black Friday was all about.
Okay.
So actually, the whole issue when that thing happened to me on 495 was a couple of weeks after Black Friday. So Black Friday, when you get Black Friday over and done with in retail, that's the icing on the cake. It's
Okay.
all downhill after that.
Oh, interesting.
Oh.
Yep. So the high is Black Friday, and the holiday season just keeps dropping low, low, low.
Okay.
You know, so if you get over the Black Friday thing, you're fine.
So it's like the spring market in real estate. We never know what day is going to come
We
out.
can
but,
relate.
And so what are you doing as part of your maintenance program?
Just trying to stay busy, and
You're still going to therapy, right?
Yep, I go to therapy. I go to therapy, talk therapy every 3 weeks, and since I've been, I'm actually going between 4 to 5 now, and then I see a nurse practitioner every so many months for very mild medication. I'm not ashamed to talk about that,
Please, Tommy.
you know.
Shouldn't be.
No. And they said, I learned in therapy and in group therapy, you can't be ashamed of having anxiety. You can't ignore it. And you have to tell people, and don't be afraid to ask for help if need be.
We are so lucky that you came on today
know,
to
really.
talk about this.
Yeah.
This is huge.
There are lots of people who experience it and don't feel comfortable talking about it. They're afraid that it'll affect their lives negatively, and yet you had this major experience in your life. You embraced it, you acknowledged it for what it is, and you've survived through the process, and now acknowledge that this is part of your life, and I think that's pretty extraordinary.
That's huge.
And my my boyfriend and my family were very supportive, and my work was very supportive, and my close friends were very supportive.
That's the best part, right? You had an incredible support system to help you through the process, which is incredible. And here you are today to talk about it and share with our viewer audience.
With billions of people.
No tearing up, Wangtini.
Am I tearing?
A little bit.
I'm sorry. Just I've waited for this day for so long. I'm so honored to have Tommy on.
Well, it's been an amazing experience talking about your life event that you're willing to share with us today.
And I was
appreciate
afraid,
it.
I was even afraid to talk about it, but it wasn't
Tommy,
that
don't.
bad.
How do you feel? Do you feel
It's
refreshed?
liberating.
Yes, and
I fe-
liberated. You
Yes.
more than likely helped some people out today.
Yeah, I think so.
That's good.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Tommy.
You're welcome.
Thanks for sharing today. This is the show,
I'm Stephanie Weinstein.
and I'm Meredith Keach.
I'm Tom.